Hi, everybody. Welcome to the virtual Open Sky Artist Walkthrough with the 2023 jurors. My name is Haley Bassett. I'm the Executive Director of Arts Northeast, and I'd like to acknowledge that we live, work, and play in Treaty 8 territory, the traditional territory of the Cree, Dene, and Daneza, as well as the Métis homeland. And I'd like to introduce Mary Anne Molcan, who has done a wonderful job adjudicating this year. She's a Vancouver Island-based printmaker, and hopefully Jerry will be joining us shortly. Jerry Sheena, who's also a carver from the Lower Mainland. But yeah, we are going to start with the Distinguished Awards and then work through Chosen Awards and then Honorable Mentions. And yeah, I will just pull up that presentation and then I'll let Mary Anne take it from there. Mary Anne?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, great. All right, yeah, so we're going to start with the Distinguished Awards. And first up is Drowning Yet Surviving by Samantha Wigglesworth from Fort St. John.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Samantha, for sharing your work with me. Your work is an amazing example of contemporary portraiture. It is highly creative and original. The composition is compelling with the figure dissolving in the background. And in contrast with the embroidered pier. It's a unique feature that holds me. It creates a bit of tension and it holds me. And it's a play between two-dimensional and three-dimensional space. And the subject itself facilitates interest and stimulates conversation with the viewer. Mental health is important, and this piece has the capacity to create that awareness. It is well painted, and the choice of the lighter colors created a tension with the red thread for me, and it's just very well painted. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's beautiful work, Samantha. It's very striking. One thing that's interesting to me is the fact that like the sort of gem-shaped beads you've used have sort of elevated the struggle of the subject in a way and it like celebrates it. So that's another interesting element. And it is just so beautifully and delicately rendered. So yeah, amazing piece. All right, and next we have Distinguished Conceptual Self-Portrait with Chair by Kit Fast.
Thank you, Kit, for sharing this work with me as well. It's a strong example of conceptual art with the idea or thought behind the piece maintaining significance throughout the artwork. The idea of bringing a vacant chair and a white chair into the forest can say so much about our place on this planet and about the story and the history of the land. Every viewer will have their own perspective of what that means to them. That chair looks uncomfortable, and that's a good thing, in my opinion. The photograph also travels through time with a contemporary perspective. The choice of using color as opposed to sepia tones inspired a thoughtful process for me. It's very well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, definitely a very interesting piece. One of my favorites in the show. And when I first saw it, I was just like, it was almost kind of jarring, this juxtaposition of like traditional portrait pose out in the wilderness. And it kind of took a minute for me to kind of rectify both those things together. But it's really interesting that it's drawing out that tension. So yeah, all right, and moving on to Distinguished Three-Dimensional on the Backs of Our Ancestors by Curtis Dickey from Fort Nelson.
Well, thank you, Curtis, for sharing this work with me. It stands out because the composition of the piece, as well as the narrative behind it, is very strong. It cultivates curiosity and maintains a contemporary perspective. It's beautifully carved, and the detail is fascinating. I enjoyed the use of abalone with a touch of color, and I thought it was all thoughtfully considered, and it was a great choice for this work. Congratulations.
yeah, the more I look at it, the more I see. Actually, I'm just realizing there's so much I haven't noticed before.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the detail in it is just fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing and incredibly ambitious and well executed. There's so many elements to juggle, but he's done it all expertly. So I'm really excited for him. Yeah, and having won this award. So yeah, congrats, Curtis. All right, and Distinguished Photography, Andrina's Willow by Kaylee Oldershaw and from Dawson Creek.
Yes. Thank you, Kaylee, for sharing this work with me. Your work stands out because of the composition of this piece, as well as the narrative behind it. It's very strong. It cultivates curiosity, and the focal point is on the bee, which is a great choice.
My dad.
The clean background and the blurred foreground further accentuate the bee. In today's world, we need to take care of these little guys. And your photograph exhibits their beauty. As I feel, as visual artists, we have a responsibility to make the invisible visible. And you've accomplished that. Congratulations.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a charming photograph of a bee. Like he's looking straight at us. And it must be so difficult to capture that and then in such minute detail as well. And I know that Kaylee also paints a lot of bees and does amazing bee paintings, but her photography is just as strong. So yeah, it's great work. All right, and then on to Chosen Awards. Denise, you're here, great. Ethereal Illumination by Denise Kearns from Tumbler Ridge.
Hey, thank you, Denise, for sharing this work with me. I'm drawn to this piece because of the contrasting elements it exhibits. The soft hues in the sky against the hard landscapes and the rock shapes hold so much significance. It can be grounding. Those rock shapes can be grounding against a moving sky. And although when you think about it, rocks also move. The photograph appears otherworldly, but it's not. It's our world. And thank you for sharing its beauty with us. Congratulations.
Yeah. It is an amazing image, and yeah, like it could be almost from another planet, but it's just encapsulating something that's magical about our own world. And the formations of the rocks are as like mesmerizing as the northern lights, and it's just, yeah, such a strong contrast. Yeah, it's an amazing photo. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah. All right, Bodyworks by Mary Parslow.
Oh, thank you, Mary, for sharing your work with me. I appreciate, with this work, I appreciate the layering and the textures, as well as the subject matter. Our bodies hold so much trauma, and the choice of color demonstrates this. I also enjoyed the use of white in this piece. It offers an element of hope. It takes a skilled printmaker to maintain clear and concise layers throughout the process. And I believe that art has the ability to stimulate awareness and facilitate conversation about trauma. And so thank you very much for bringing this forward. It's a very engaging piece. Congratulations.
Yeah, and just to echo that, I mean, there's just growing awareness about trauma's effect on the body, and it's just so important for people to understand, because I mean, so many things happen to people that they don't fully understand, and all the ways that it affects them. So yeah, it's a really important issue to highlight. So congrats, Mary, and thank you for sharing this. All right, Petals for Kukum by Larissa Scriven.
Thank you, Larissa, for sharing this work with me as well. It's a beautiful example. For me, this work is a beautiful example of the importance of relationships, the ones that we honor and hold close to our hearts. Human beings are hardwired to connect with others. Our brains and our neural connections are designed for this. And your choice of soft colors, and the soft buckskin elicit a special emotional response that tells me how important this piece is. So congratulations.
Yeah, and it is such a sweet piece. Like, it's so tender. And I kind of love that I mean, you can tell that this is a first attempt, but it adds to the sentimentality of the piece. Just having to learn on your own and not having that guidance, which so many of us beadworkers go through, but you're still determined and finding your own way and creating something beautiful. So yeah, congrats, Larissa. Thank you for sharing this. All right, The Alley by Peter Shaw.
Thank you, Peter, for sharing this work with me. I'm drawn to the everyday nature of this piece. It's a scene a viewer may encounter and take for granted often in the course of their day. But you took the time to accentuate the light on the puddles in the foreground to pull the viewer in, and it creates an awareness that the ordinary holds value. And the perspective in this piece is well executed, and the use of light and dark tones is well balanced. So overall, the piece is very well executed. Congratulations.
Yeah, Peter, I have to say I'm such a big fan of your work, and I'm so glad you submitted to the show this year. And I'm just in awe of this piece, and every blade of grass, every board on each fence, every gap between branches is treated with the same importance. And yet we're not getting lost in the composition. Everything is in its proper place. Everything is receding as it should according to linear perspective. It's just expertly done. And I mean, like, I know this alley because I grew up around Dawson Creek. I think I could literally point it out. I know that fence. I know that one that leans out towards the road. And like, it's such a tender portrait of our community. And I think it's really important. So thank you, Peter. All right, Oval Floral Stamped Serving Dish by Dory Braun.
Well, thank you, Dory, for sharing this beautiful piece with me. The creative elements using the bisque-fired stamps of local flowers and plants literally pulled me into the piece. I also have a pottery studio at home, and I appreciate your choice of clay along with the glaze. It accentuates the organic qualities and places value on functionality. So for me, this was a beautifully executed three-dimensional piece. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, something I love about functional ceramics is it's bringing art into the everyday, and it's something you can engage with every day and have like a close relationship with. And I also love that, like, her one piece references her Ukrainian roots, and I see that in the folk style and the ways that the plants are rendered, but it's also very much of the piece country, of course, because it's representing local flowers. And I like that story as well. There's just a lot of layers to this piece. Thank you, Dory. All right, Night Dance by Angela Sullivan.
Well, thank you, Angela, for sharing this work with me. It's a great example of how duality exists in our world. The hard nature of the material itself exhibits flexibility and motion, which is interesting, and that's hard to do. The borderless patterning in this composition and the choice of color against the dark background further accentuate the tension, and it creates interest and motion in a fairly physical material place. So it's well done. Thank you. Congratulations.
Yeah, I would just echo that. It has some very nice movement. And I mean, without the title, it could be water or the sky reflecting in water, but northern lights or just an abstract image. But yeah, it's really interesting. It holds you. And that's just, you know, sometimes difficult to do in a smaller piece too. It's just the interest of the materials and the colors. So thank you, Angela. All right, Hazel by Brogan Didier.
Thank you, Brogan, for sharing this beautiful creature with me. This piece for me creates a reminder that humans do not walk on this planet alone. We share this world with other spirits. You have captured the spirit of this special companion and have drawn our attention towards it. It's the way that the eyes are rendered and engage the viewer that stimulates for me the connectedness of the energy between different beings. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Yeah, Brogan, this is the first introduction I've had to your work since you've submitted to the show this year. And I like to pride myself on knowing all the local artists, but apparently there's more out there, and I'm just so happy you shared your work this year. And I mean, at first you're like, okay, it's a pet portrait, but it's so sweet. You can, like, your relationship with Hazel just shines through, and her connection to you, you can see it in her eyes. And I mean, it's just something that everyone can relate to, because I mean, I hope everyone's lucky enough to have had a Hazel in their life. But yeah, it's such a sweet piece. Thank you, Brogan. All right, Blaze Across the Land by Angela Fair.
Okay, thank you, Angela, for sharing your work with me. What I enjoyed about this piece is the gestural qualities and the confident mark making. It drew me into this work. It's not easy to hold the whites and create translucent layers with watercolor, but you've executed that very well. It's also not easy to create a compelling composition using a square surface. And again, you've achieved this. So the subject matter is also on everyone's minds. Right now, many are thinking about fires in various areas of our province. And thank you for capturing the energy of fire and drawing our attention to it. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a great piece. The vibrancy of the orange is so powerful. I mean, you know, you knew what you were doing when you chose your palette, I think, for this piece. And I think we were having a bit of a conversation before about how sometimes the piece finds deeper meaning depending on when it's created or when it comes into being. And that's just kind of something special about art. Yeah, this piece, as you said in your statement, this piece took on a whole new meaning, just, you know, given the times we're in. But that's the power of art. So thank you, Angela. Okay, Illumination by Megan Graw.
Thank you, Megan, for sharing this beautiful piece with me. It's a wonderful example of contemporary still life. The composition and the perspective from a higher vantage point and the use of light create a sense of motion. Those swirling rainbows capture the essence of wonder for me and stimulate the imagination of the viewers. And it's very well painted, and the use of color and light is well executed. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Yeah, Megan, this is one of my favorite pieces in the show. It's just so dreamy. And I mean, the thing about painting a still life, I mean, it's been done for hundreds of years, but yeah, somehow you've, you know, managed to, you know, put a fresh take on it. And that's a really big accomplishment. It's just so dazzling. There's every single shadow and highlight is so carefully considered, and it's just a wonderful piece. So thank you, Megan. All right, on to honorable mentions. Okay, Percolating by Becky Bannock.
Thank you, Becky, for sharing this work with me. It captures the unusual and it cultivates curiosity. I usually associate steampunk with stark cold metal gears, but you've chosen to exhibit this mechanical subject with soft and warm tones of wood. And so your use of negative space is well planned. And I also wanted to thank you for submitting in the profile of this work, because it gave me the sense of depth to really truly appreciate this work. Congratulations.
Yeah, Becky, I mean, it's so great to see like a woman woodworker and in the North too. I think it's really amazing you're doing this work. And there's just so much happening. Every gear, because I'm going to call them gears, has like its own personality, and they're all kind of like jumbled together, but somehow it seems like pulling towards the same purpose, which is really interesting. Yeah, it's just such a unique piece. I haven't seen anything like it. So congrats, Becky. All right, Northern Lights by Alison Thomas Knuth.
Allison, thank you for sharing this work with me. The use of your technique, it was the wet on wet technique that is especially successful with this piece. And it gives them, it captures the motion of the sky and the ethereal nature of the forest. Your work has a strong balance between light and dark qualities, and it encourages the viewer to actually step into the piece and garner a sense of awe of this world. I just want to just stand there and look at the sky. So congratulations on this beautiful piece.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And it's something that I've learned over the years as an artist, that you start out thinking that the best art only comes from something you've spent months and months, even years on, and like put a ton of effort and time and make it like this really painstaking process. But that actually doesn't make good art, not necessarily. Sometimes it depends on the subject or what you're trying to achieve. And yeah, doing a quicker process, doing wet onto wet in a single session is what you needed, like Mary Anne said, to capture the ethereal nature of the Northern Lights. So congrats, it's really well done. All right, and Mesmerized by the Dancing Stairway to Heaven, Soto First Nation by Alex Landon Richardson.
Thank you, Alex, for sharing this piece with me. This piece also exhibits a sense of otherworldliness because of your choices of color. The fluorescent brush strokes are laid down confidently to create a play of light and shadow. And it's like you're inviting the viewer to come in and it's a dreamlike landscape. It's got these dreamlike qualities to it. So congratulations on this piece as well.
Yeah, Alex, I love your work, and I really love that you're documenting the region in this way with this reverence and capturing the magic quality of it. And I like how like the magic that's happening in the sky is reflected in like the beings on the ground, and that's true. It's all connected. So thank you so much, Alex. All right, and that is all the awards.
I just wanted to say thank you for your kind words.
Oh,
hi.
I didn't realize you
Daniel
were
and I
here.
are here.
Great. Oh, you're at the okay. You're at the exhibition. Great.
I could actually do a virtual walkthrough for you by walking through it.
Okay, well, yeah, do that. I would love to see how it's set up.
Perfect.
Okay. So, okay, just a question. I'm not sharing my screen anymore, right?
Maybe don't talk for a second and I'll see if you, no, you're not sharing a screen. Your face is on it.
Okay, great. Okay, you saw the presentation, right?
Yes, I did. It was awesome.
Okay. Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, so I'll just give everyone a virtual walkthrough here. So this is the entrance way. You come in and you see this. We have the door propped open with a fan, so it's nice and breezy. And we walk in, we've got lots of visitors. The whole time I've been here, it's been about 10 people each, all at a time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it's really well attended. We start off with, I'm not trying to be full of myself, but one of my pieces.
It starts with
And
you.
then, and then here we go into some painting and the wood piece, which is just so striking. One of Samantha's paintings.
Yeah.
And I'll step back at the end so you can see it all. Here we have some works on easels. And I really like how this panel came together. It's a sketch in the center with different media surrounding. And lots of purples. And then we have Haley's beadwork here, just amazing on primed bare natural canvas. So, and Kit Fast here, a photograph of willows, pussy willows. There we have one of our award winners. Peter Shaw. And here, I like this panel too. We have a mix of wood sculpture with ceramic, and then a tiny little painting, and two paintings here at the bottom. And this one's really playful. The one framed with natural pieces of wood by Larissa Scriven. And then here's this panel. You kind of have to step back. There's some larger pieces. This one really reminds me of the region. Actually, both of these do. And then I love this set together. They both have swans. I really enjoy this painting. And then here we have a landscape with some swans in it. And then here's our last panel. So these are all very earth landscape based in a way, some more abstract than others. And I really enjoy how the abalone shell is playing with the light from the window. And then we have this wall here, some two-dimensional work. And then we have the youth exhibition. So we have a whole playful corner here.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, really nice, lively corner. And one piece that's not on a wall, but is really interesting, is a binder that has been painted, which I really enjoy. And then, I don't know how much time everyone has, but I'll just show you, we have these tables in the center of the room that are just really thoughtfully curated with the ceramics, some two-dimensional. And then here in the center. So they're all just full of work. It's a really, really full show. And here again, two-dimensional and three-dimensional. There's the Northern Lights piece. And Samantha said she was trying to make this woman look like a sticker. So she only put gloss on the woman, which I really enjoy. And here's a little box of curious little sculptures that are just so much fun. And this little cat is made of cat hair. I just really enjoy that little cat. And lastly, we have this wall. So lots of work. And actually, it's been, as I said, really well attended today. This is the first day it's been open to the public. And there we go, Kit's photograph and a charcoal drawing to finish us off.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Alex. Yeah, I saw there were some people in there, so I'm really, really happy that people are filtering through.
Yeah, they've just cleared out now, but consistently it's been 10 people at a time.
Oh, that's awesome. Great.
Yeah, relationship with every piece in the show. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Mary Anne, for all your thought and consideration. This show is really important to the regional artists here, so it's always great to have input from artists from other areas and just to see what's going on here. You know, yeah. So very much appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mary Anne.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been an honor and a privilege and a wonderful experience, and I appreciate that.